Hey guys, Cabin Moose here, and we're going to do a quick recording on how to set up your own Rust server using Linux. In this case, we're going to be using DigitalOcean, which is a popular Linux hosting service. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head over to digitalocean.com, create a droplet. From what I've found, I'm using Ubuntu 14.04. For the tier, you're going to want to pick either the $20 or $40 tier. 20 will work. For a server of around 100 people, I would recommend bumping to the $40 tier. You're going to want to go down here. You're not going to need any of these options probably, but if you do, go for it. You can name it whatever you want. So we'll name this one Rust Test Server. Go ahead and create this. Alright, so it's going to go through the creation process. Once this is done, it will email your DigitalOcean account, whatever email address you have set up there, with a default root password. While this is going on, you might want to go ahead and download an SSH client. If you're using Windows, this would probably be PuTTY. You can go to putty.org and get their PuTTY client. So go here and then download the MSI right there. All these links will be in the video description. Alright, so it is finished working. I've gotten the email. I'm going to go ahead and open PuTTY. So once you've installed PuTTY, go ahead and launch that. It'll give you an IP for your server. So in this case, that's our IP. Open it up. Accept that fingerprint. You're going to log in as a root. You're going to put in your password you were emailed. You can do that by right-clicking. That'll paste it in there for you. Those of you who have not used PuTTY before. You're going to put that password in again. You're going to decide on some new password for your root account. Make sure it's nice and secure. Alright, so then we have our server online. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and start getting the Rust portion of this set up. So we're going to have to install some dependencies for the Linux Game Server Manager. So all these commands will be in the video description for you to copy and paste in. It's going to ask if you want to continue. You're going to do yes. We'll install for a little bit here. Hopefully not too long. Depends on your internet speed though. This is just setting up the dependencies for the Linux Game Server Manager, which is the tool we use to run the server. It's going to ask you to do some configurations. For these, you're just going to pretty much go OK, internet site OK, that's OK, and it should keep installing. Alright, so it's installed our dependencies. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and set up our firewall so that Rust supports are allowed to get through and communicate with our server from the outside. So for the default Rust server, you're generally given ports of 28015 for your game server and 28016 for your RCON. If you wanted to change these, you're going to want to change these in this firewall configuration as well. So first we're going to unblock the game server by doing a sudo ufw allow on the game server's ports for both TCP and UDP. And then we'll allow the RCON on TCP. Alright, so now we've unlocked our ports. We're going to go ahead and create a new user to run our server from. You can name this whatever you want. For example, adduser Rust server creates a Rust server user. So that's our username. It's going to ask you to pick a password again. Make sure you do something nice and secure. This information, you can fill it out if you want to, otherwise no one's going to know. Alright, then we're going to change user, so we're going to do su dash and then our username to change to our new user we've created. In this user, we should be now in your default directory, so we're going to go ahead and download a script called rustserver from Linux Game Server Managers. Using this command wget to get that script. We're going to make that script executable, so chmod plus x rustserver. We're going to install the Rust server, so this will run a steam command and go ahead and pull down the server for us. It's going to ask you if you want to use this directory. For all test cases, if you don't know what you're doing, just go ahead and hit yes. If you want to change it somewhere else, feel free to change it. It's going to install steam command. It's going to run steam command with an anonymous user. This is just downloading all of the Rust game files, basically. If you do feel you need to have your Rust server downloaded from a Steam account for whatever reason, you can go ahead and edit the Rust server script file, which will allow you to change your Steam account. It might take a while here on the waiting for license info. If it does happen, just let it run. Alright, I've gone ahead and cut forward to the install being completed. So as here, it's gone through and installed up to 100%. It's going to ask you, was the install successful? I've never seen it not succeed, but if it didn't say success here, you'd want to click, change this to no, but it succeeded, so we're going to do yes. It's going to create the directories for the server. It's going to ask if you want to install a game server query. You're going to want to do yes again. It'll create more configs for that. And then it says install complete. So now the Rust server is fully installed, so we're going to go ahead and configure it. To do that, you're going to have to edit the Rust server script file itself. So in this instance, we're going to be using nano. So we're going to do nano and then Rust server. So now we have access to the Rust server script file. We're going to go down here. So here's where you can change your Steam username and password if you wanted to do that, to associate your Steam name with this account. So you can change the Rust server name to my Rust server. You want to change this IP to the IP of your server. So if we go ahead and go back here, and here's our test server. We'll change this to 45.55.217.78. We'll leave our default RCON port and server pass port and whatnot. Change your password to whatever. This is test. You can change your max players, whatever, how many people on the server. You can force the server to update on the start. You can set your seed here, your world size, your tick rate, things like that. So once you've done that, you can hit Control and X to exit. You'll want to hit Y to make sure you're saving, and then just hit Enter to save it to the same file. So now we've edited our files here. We're going to go back and we're going to start the server now. So we're going to run /Rust server space start. It'll start up the server. This can take a while. Once it's done running, it's still actually, the server is still initializing. So what you're going to want to do is, first of all, you're going to do Rust server space details to make sure it actually ran. So it'll say online here. If it's actually running, it'll show you both things are open. And then to know when it's actually fully online, what you can do is if you run this command, netstat -a pipe grep rust. You can see here right now only the RCON is online, so only the RCON port is online. Once you run this and you see 3 separate Rust ports open, that's when you know the server is ready to run. Alright, so we fast forwarded again here, and as you can see, now that I run the command again, we have 3 separate Rusts showing up here. So this is, our game server and our RCON are now online. So now if you want to use RCON, Rusty is a web tool you can use. It's at tools.sadface.co.uk. You'll have to create an account. But we'll just go ahead. Alright, so once you create an account and logged in, you can create a new server in your RCON settings. So we'll create a Rust type server, my test server. We'll go back to our droplet and we'll plug in the IP again. Our RCON port again was 28016, and our RCON password was, I forget now, this is a test. Go ahead and connect. My test server, we'll connect to RCON, and there you go, the server is online.